Good day, I am Mariane Pabalan, Teacher 3 at Bancaan Elementary School. My co-researcher is Mrs. Felinda Vejerano, Principal 3 at Bancaan Elementary School. Our research is entitled Compliance Level of a Public Elementary School on the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Standards of the Department of Education. World Health Organization defined disaster as any occurrence that caused damage, ecological disruption, loss of human life, deterioration of health, and health services on a scale sufficient to warrant an extraordinary response from outside the affected community or area. Also, the American Red Cross defined disaster as any occurrence, either nature or man-made, that causes human suffering and creates human needs that victims cannot alleviate without assistance. In 2016, the Philippines is the third riskiest country in terms of natural disasters. That is based on the report of Center for Research on the Epidemiology of Disasters. In addressing this, no one can deny the fact that Philippine government has gone a long way through different approaches. From disaster preparedness and response in the 1970s, the country has shifted its approach to disaster management in 1980s. In 1990s, it was transformed to disaster risk management and eventually became disaster risk reduction in 2005 up to present. Part of the mentioned shift in government strategies in 2007, the Department of Education has started to mainstream disaster risk reduction into the education sector. The education agency, as mandated by the Constitution, is primarily held responsible for the education and manpower development of the country and for the formulation of planning, implementation, and coordination of the policies, plans, programs, and projects in the areas of formal, informal, and non-formal education at the elementary, secondary, and the alternative learning system. With the provisions of DRRM Act, comprehensive and integrated knowledge building about disaster education is intensified among students under the K-12 education program. DepEd authorities mandate the integration of the disaster risk reduction and management in schools' curricula. To serve as a common pattern for localization, contextualization, and adaptation at the sub-national context, the Department of Education developed a School Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Manual, or DRRM manual. Okay, with the issuance of DepEd Order 37, Series of 2015, the framework is expected to guide schools in assessing, planning, and implementing their specific prevention and mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery and rehabilitation interventions as expressed in 3 pillars. First is the safe learning facilities. Second, school disaster management. And the third, disaster risk reduction in education. For our research objective, we have 2 objectives. Number 1, this study aimed to determine the compliance level of Bancaan Elementary School on the disaster risk reduction and management standards of the Department of Education for the school year 2018-2019 in the municipality of Naic, Cavite, based on the 3 pillars: safe learning facilities, school disaster management, risk reduction, and resilience education. Another research objective is to identify the common problems encountered by the teachers or by the school in the implementation of the school risk reduction and preparedness program. For research questions, we have 2 questions. What is the compliance level of Bancaan Elementary School on the disaster risk reduction and management standards of the Department of Education for school year 2018-2019 based on the 3 pillars? We mentioned that already. The number 2 research question is that what are the common problems encountered by Bancaan Elementary School or teachers on the disaster risk reduction and management standards of the Department of Education for the school year 2018 and 19? Scope and limitations. The study focused only on the compliance level of Bancaan Elementary School on the disaster risk reduction and management standards of the Department of Education for the school year 2018 and 19. Another, the data were collected from the school head and the teachers of Bancaan Elementary School. For the methodology, the researchers used quantitative, descriptive as their research design. They use also the survey questionnaire as their primary instrument in collecting their data. For the data analysis, to get the level of compliance of the school on the disaster risk reduction and management standards of the Department of Education, the researchers just get the mean. And for the research question 2, to get the common problems encountered by the school, we just got the frequency count and the percentage. For results and discussion, for the number 1 objective, which is about compliance level, for Pillar 1, safe learning facilities, the researcher obtained 4.13, wherein roles and responsibilities for maintenance are defined, documented, and assigned, got the lowest rating of 3.43, while school head is clear with the roles of functions of the school in camp management, got the highest rating of 4.40. For the pillar number 2, the researchers obtained the score of 3.85. The lowest school has trained personnel or administer first aid to student and personnel, 3.13. The highest, conducted Brigada Eskwela to ensure school safety and preparedness measures are in place as per the DepEd order number, as per DepEd order, 4.8. Great deal towards the attainment of the goal of Pillar 2. For the Pillar number 3, Risk Reduction and Resilience Education, the researcher obtained the 3.13 score, wherein the lowest students are actively participating in various DRRM, 2.93, wherein the highest is the presence of DRRM corner with update IEC materials posted in every classroom, which obtained 3.50. For the number 2 research, or for the number 2 objective, common problems encountered by the school in the implementation of disaster risk reduction and preparedness program by the Department of Education, with the 5 given common problems. The number 5, or the partnership among stakeholders, obtained the score of 3.10, which says that there is moderately, the number 5, moderately encountered by the teachers. And the highest is the capacity of institution in terms of financial matter is the most common problem being encountered by the teachers or the school. For the conclusion, Bancaan Elementary School had a good compliance level on the disaster risk reduction and management standards of the Department of Education during the school year 2018 to 2019. However, some problems were encountered, such as the limited capacity of the institution in providing adequate training and materials among the school disaster risk reduction and management team, or SDRRM team, and the level of awareness of the school community to the threats, impacts of hazards, risks, and vulnerability. Despite these challenges, the teachers agreed that the school was generally compliant. For the recommendations, to address the highly encountered problems, it is strongly recommended for the school to think of generating funds to support activities related in DRRM. Also, one of the recommendations is to conduct further studies related to DRRM. And that ends my presentation regarding our research. Thank you and God bless you.